Good evening, everybody. This is Kanal, Black Man Travels. Happy Tuesday. Know it's kind of late in the day, but definitely this is a great time to have a real talk conversation. Today, I have the pleasure and opportunity to speak to an amazing expat, a black man expat, who's currently living in Dominican Republic, who has an interesting life. I mean, this guy is doing all the big things there, and it's great to see that because lately there's been a lot of foolishness within the black travel movement, and you rarely see receipts. And to hear a fellow black man is doing so well overseas and have the receipts to back it up. There's a lot of talking on these travel streets, but yet no one's not producing any results. And lucky for me, I was able to meet a gentleman by the name of Rashad, who's actually doing very, very well in all aspects in his life. And I think he actually sets the tone as well as create the benchmark and what a lot of guys want to achieve as they explore becoming an expat. Now, typically when you think of an expat, you think of someone that's just living overseas, being lazy, and just enjoying their retirement. But to be honest, most expats that I've known and that I've met are actually still grinding, they still producing, they still contributing within their communities. And it's always amazing to see black expats that are doing amazing things, opening businesses, contributing to the local charities within the towns that they're staying in or city, or even finding love. We're having a lot of black men expats that are actually meeting quality women and building a relationship with, and as well as starting a family. Right now, a lot of black men is getting a lot of negative rep in regards to as well as starting a family. In regards to like just traveling for one particular item, but that's a false narrative. There's a lot of us is actually traveling and really contributing and meeting amazing people and starting a life in these countries. So I'm going to introduce you guys to one amazing expat whom I had the pleasure to meet, and he has an interesting life to tell you, to share with you, and he's going to give you guys the tips and tricks and how you could become a black expat. Again, guys, expat is a life, it's a lifestyle. And the thing is, you can make it or you can break it. So with that being said, today's topic is black expat life in the Dominican Republic, profits, peace, and love. And I have Rashad. Welcome, Rashad. Hey, welcome, Rashad.
You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. My bad. I pressed the mute button by accident.
All right. Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Not a problem. Thank you for taking the time. I know you're a busy man, and as you said earlier, you've been working. And again, like when people think of expat, they assume that you're just sitting back and enjoying your golden years, but really, you're not really even an older guy. You're very mature, and you're still making things happen. So go ahead and just introduce yourself. Give us a little backdrop as far as who you are, where you're from, and what made you decide to expat your life out in Dominican Republic.
All right. Well, I'm how old am I? I'm 52. From Florida.
Which part of Florida?
The Tampa Bay area.
Yeah, I'm from Dade County, man, Miami.
All right. How I ended up in the DR. I got divorced. I was really on some simp shit. I married a chick with 3 kids, and I don't know if you listened to or followed Kevin Samuels, but damn near everything he said that happens to guys who actually do that happened to me.
Wow.
So I divorced her because of her badass kids, and
Okay.
and I basically got fed up. So I was like, look, that was my second marriage. Uh, I'm done with this. I'm just going to be a quote unquote whore the rest of my life. And I'm just going to go to Brazil and Colombia and Dominican Republic and wherever else those guys go. And I'm just going to have fun the rest of my life. I can
Okay.
afford it. I'm going to go do it. So I had the opportunity to go to the Dominican Republic, and a guy was trying to get me to buy a small hotel resort type thing. And one of the women that actually worked there was talking to me, was like, I want to introduce you to my daughter. And not only did I do that, but I went on this website to meet women in other countries that I was planning on going to. And I was talking to maybe I was sending out messages to like 100 of them. And as they asked me for money, I cut them off. And the lady who introduced me to her daughter was the last one that asked me for something. And it took her about 9 months to ask me for anything. And the only thing she asked me for was just to pay her cell phone so that we can continue talking.
Wow.
So I found a website online where I could pay her cell phone bill, and we just continued talking. And it got to the point where we were actually dating, and she would go out with her friends, but she lived in a different country, and she would ask me permission. Do you mind if I go out with my friends? All right, sure. And then she'd get back on there. Do you approve of what I'm wearing? Every once in a while, I would tell her, no, you can't wear that. And she changed. I'm like, damn, this woman lives in another country and listening to me in a way that you really couldn't get women locally to do. It wasn't none of that. You're not my daddy. You can't tell me what to do. So it got me kind of closer to her.
Let me ask you a question. The fact that, a lot of guys have an interest in dating women overseas, what are your thoughts in like dudes actually vetting these women before they decide to, establish a relationship? Because most guys don't really vet these women. They just go by the smile and the pretty face and big butt. They don't really take the time to get to test or get to know the lady. So what are your thoughts on that? And what did you do beyond, solidifying that this woman was really there for you and not for your pockets?
Well, first of all, when I knew that, what made me know that she was not all about my money was we were talking once, and I told her that my company had a bad week. And she took that to mean I didn't have any money. So she had a little job down there where she was making about, I think, like $200 our money per month. And she took some of her money and paid for something she needed to pay for. And then she sent me a Western Union receipt that she sent me money. And that just that just made me this might be the one right here. She only makes $200 a month, and she sent me more than $100.
Now, let me ask you this. Right now, there's a lot of YouTubers that are in Dominican Republic, a couple of expats that they continue to talk. 1 minute they're praising, the next minute they're speaking very negative about Dominican women and why you should not date them and whatever. Like, what are the pitfalls that guys make dating a woman overseas, which cause them to have a disdain to not like, they assume that everyone is pretty much the same based on that particular area that they frequent go to. So they assume that everyone within the country is like that as well. Like,
Absolutely, because most of these guys that go there go to basically one place,
mhm.
Sasua. So they actually feel that just about every woman is like the country is the Dominican Republic of Sasua. So that every woman that they meet there is kind of like that. And I I don't really I don't really have anything bad to say about that because I've been there
Yeah.
and, and and I've taken guys there, and even if the women are not workers, for lack of a more um, easier word to say to describe them,
Mhm.
the women know women who are. They have friends and family members who are. So they're kind of influenced by it.
Yeah.
But anyone that I say that's really looking for someone down there, you go to a smaller town that's far enough away from Sasua as possible, and you'll start to meet some wholesome, very traditional, um, attractive, um, very approachable in small towns.
I mean, I totally agree. If anything, I've taken guys to Sasua. I always recommend Sasua as a first time traveler. Like, hey, listen, this is your first time out of the country, and you want to experience everything all at once, and you only have 3 days, go to Sasua. Trust me,
Absolutely.
I'm constantly promoting Sasua. However, once you got Sasua out of your system, there's so much to see and do. Like right now, I've been to 25 cities and towns in Dominican Republic. I'm actually flying out to DR on Wednesday next week, and I'm heading to Sanama and Las Tuanas. I'm gonna spend 7 days
Um,
out there.
uh, just so you know,
Yeah, I know the hurricane, but
yeah,
I
they got tore up.
yeah, but Las Tuanas is cool right now. So I mean, worst case scenario, I'll just stay out in Cabarete. So I'm not worrying about it. I mean, hopefully, tourist areas they tend to clean the area up real fast. So I'm basically going up there, driving 4 hours. I fly into Puerto Plata, then I got my rental. I'm gonna drive up. So, but if I'm gonna continue to look at the weather advisory to see how well, how bad or good the situation is. If it's not, then you know what, I cancel. I stay in Cabarete. But right now, the North Coast is okay. Just some rain. Hopefully by next week, everything will clear.
All
But
right.
but I always tell guys like, listen, man, there's a lot of beautiful women, a lot of intelligent women, a lot of women that want to be wives. But the thing is, you can't go there with this mindset thinking that everyone's the same. And the thing is, too, you have to apply yourself. I mean, you have to be willing to learn the language, learn the culture, the customs. But a lot of guys don't want to put in the work. So they assume that, hey, I'm just going to show up. I'm American. I got dollars and I'm good. That's not the case in certain areas. Certain areas, they won't, certain areas, they won't even fuck with you because they know that if they're associated with a gringo, that could be a negative look on them. And I've met women that just don't want to be associated with any gringos. So, guys, there is quality women throughout the country, but you just gotta be willing to put in the work and explore. Now, granted, you may experience some bullshit, regardless if you're in the tourist area or in the local area. But just make sure you have a thorough vetting process. Make sure you test them. You make sure like, hey, the same tests that you do to women here in the States, you apply that same rule overseas. So, and that's why, Rashad was able to actually find a love that he was looking for. But also, too, I think, Rashad, you have a friend that actually have multiple wives in DR. Another expat, right?
Yeah. He's got four of them,
Wow.
and just about every time I see him, all four of them, and him is together.
They together.
Yeah, I
Wait,
have.
wait, wait. Stop it, Rashad. All four women cooperating together with that one guy.
Absolutely. and
How
I have never seen him when it was just him and the main wife. It's either him and her and one other, or he has all four of them with him every
so
time.
how did he was able to actually create that peace? Because typically most Latinas, I mean most women, majority of women are jealous. I mean they don't feel comfortable having sharing their man. How was he able to actually create that atmosphere where all four of them accepted the fact that they're sharing this one guy?
All right, so Kevin Samuels would always say that you need to find somebody that's fit, feminine, friendly, submissive, and willing to get on your program. There are a lot of women down there, even though you said that are willing to get on your program. You're taking care of them. You're doing what you're supposed to do as a man, provider, protecting, all that. They're willing to get on your program. I know a couple other women that was like, hey, that they were interested in being in a relationship like he has.
Wow.
They are willing to get on your program.
So I assume that he basically treats every girl the same.
Um, I'm not going to necessarily say that he treats them all the same, but he treats them all well.
Okay. Well, that's even better.
He is legally married to one of them.
Okay.
He treats them all well. Actually, he's last I heard, he was buying or building a large villa so that they can all live together.
Wow. Wow. You never thought that you'll find that in DR, but anything is possible. There's many guys here in the States that have multiple wives or multiple significant others. So you can
Well,
make it happen. I think honestly, and the fact that you're more transparent, or the guy's more transparent about his situation, and he kind of laid everything on the table. Are you interested or not? And that's it. He's not forcing anyone's hands. They understand the situation, but also they probably want to be with this guy. So that's kind of cool, man. And I mean, guys, you got to have an open mindset to do this. I know a lot of guys want this whole polygamy lifestyle, but a lot of guys, you don't have the pockets for it. It does get expensive, I assumed.
well, really, with the pockets there, I know I asked him. You know, he pays their rent. So he's 53, 54 maybe. His
Mhm.
his main wife is 30. The oldest woman he has there is like 35. Another one is 30, I think, too. And then he has one that just turned 25.
Wow.
And the
Wow.
one that turns 25 is still in college, lives with her parents, so he just gives her money whenever she needs it. He gives her a little allowance every month or so.
So, what are
Uh,
your thoughts, guys, calling you a simp because you're
calling
doing
her,
that? Like, what are your thoughts? Like, you're a simp.
whereas over there it's kind of engraved in him. So now, so that the woman doesn't get taken advantage of, then it's up to her father, uncles, grandfather, or male figure to vet the men that they're actually interested in, to make sure that they're not going to take advantage of them. So there's no being a simp for a woman that's doing everything that you actually want them to do and need them to do.
So basically, it's a culture thing, something that's totally ingrained to
Ab-
uh, to actually, but also too, I think the men as well. Men are ingrained, are taught to be providers, to actually lead. That's something that I noticed. Just I'm Haitian and being overseas. That they understand like your role is to like provide and protect.
yeah, and men actually understand that here too, but it's kind of, when you get this new kind of female who wants to make 100,000 but doesn't want to put none of it towards the household and wants you to pay for all the bills and stuff. Well, that's what opened the door for women to leave as soon as they feel that something's not going right. They don't like something, they're not happy for a minute. I got my 200 grand in the bank, and I'll leave and I'll take half of his stuff on the way out. That's not the same. It's not the same over there. That woman to stay for it's very rare for them to divorce.
Do you think they don't divorce based on necessity or based on like it just taught for them to stick it out and make it work out? Because I'm not gonna lie, I've seen some fucked up relationships overseas where a dude was super abusive, verbally, physically, emotionally, yet the women stick around because she had no other choice. I've seen that with my own eyes.
Well, that might be possible as well, but that's really not the majority.
Yeah.
Um, and women, just like here, down there, they can work, have jobs, they can go to school, but still, that submissiveness and femininity is engraved in them. I've never heard it in Brazil. I've never heard it in Colombia. I've never heard it in the DR where they say I'm a strong, independent woman and I don't need a man for nothing. Never heard it.
I think that's more of an American thing because I don't I I don't think most of the Western world don't even use that.
You hear it
So
in England.
yeah. England. I mean, England is America part two. So that's why I said I think most of the Western world don't really say that. But but it's interesting because a lot of guys do want to find relationships overseas, but they're not putting themselves in the position to find that relationship. They so
Yeah,
stuck into going to one particular area, not
yeah,
willing to put in the work and effort that goes into creating a relationship. I think a lot of guys just want that microwave relationship where it's like, hey, I can just come in, have a good time, get the GFE experience, then leave. Which I understand. I mean, I'm not knocking anyone that wants to do that. But also too, if you are looking for that, you need to make it known and put yourself in a position to get that. So that's kind of interesting, man. Um, so when you decided to become an expat, what made you decide to choose Dominican Republic versus the other countries that you went to?
really, because I had the business opportunity there, and the fact that she was there.
Okay.
I had no intentions, zero. Matter of fact, negative zero intentions on getting married again. But I went down there, um, and I went down there with the intent of spending time with her, and went down there and spent 7 days.
Hmm.
And during that 7 days, I realized that I had never been treated by women like this in my life. And I'd been married twice.
Yeah.
I've never been treated by women like this in my life. And not just from her, it was from her, her mother, her sister, the niece, the nieces, the aunts, the grandmothers. It just, I just never, never treated by women like this in my life.
Nice.
So
Nice.
I went down there in like October, turned around and went back in November, turned around and went back in December, and came back in January and married her. And we've been married for 5.5 years.
So you've wait. So you've only known her for like 4 months? Then you
4 months physically, but we were actually talking damn near every day on like uh, messengers and Skype and
yeah.
all.
And now today you guys have been together for like 5 years, or you say 4 to 5 years,
5.5 years married.
or five and a half years married. Wow, wow. Um, how's the communication skills between you and your wife? Did you have to learn how to speak Spanish, or did you already knew how to speak Spanish?
Hey, I knew some basic words like how to count and cuss people out. Um, and she didn't know any English, so we just figured it out. I went on them little sites to learn some Spanish. I, us Americans are arrogant, and I realized I had to pull some of that back
Yeah,
when I was going there because I used to be like, look, y'all need to learn English.
I was like that at one point.
Yeah,
I had to check myself
yeah,
where
definitely.
it.
I definitely had to check myself.
Yeah, I was
So
kind of like that when I first started. Then I realized, like, man, I'm hitting a lot of these Latin countries. So I had to learn how to speak it. So now I speak it. But I
Yeah,
definitely love to surprise folks when I speak it. It's like, oh
yeah,
shit.
yeah. So I'm about 65%, 70%. But I had her take a couple classes, some classes, and she learned some English. So she's about 20%. So we make it
Okay.
happen.
Okay. And this is what that needs to be shared to the community. I think a lot of guys don't get to that level of experiencing a relationship overseas. I think a lot of guys are still stuck on the physical. It's like, hey, it's something fresh, something new, something exotic. So they just get caught up by that, but they don't understand that it does take a lot of effort to build that relationship. You're gonna have your arguments, you're gonna have your disagreements and everything else, but yet can you still have that communication skill and willing to make things work? And that's something that I've noticed that there's really no different. You still got to apply the same basic rules and maintaining a relationship. However, it takes two. One person can't do it all.
Yeah, but the kind of difference between relationships here and relationships there, my word is gold there, and and because I know my word is gold, um, I don't take advantage of it. I know that I got the last word, and even if I'm not right, I if I chose to, I could make myself right, and that's where you can't let your head get too big at. So sometimes you gotta admit when you're wrong,
Yeah.
and for the betterment of the relationship. But
It's funny. Let's talk about that. Admitting when you're wrong. I had to like check myself again, admitting when I'm wrong and not being afraid to apologize and work on it. Like I've dated several women overseas, and things worked out. Things kind of just phased out. But one thing I've learned is just like when I know that I'm wrong, I'm not afraid to say, "Hey, my apologies, lo
you have
siento." You
you
know?
have to get it past that arrogance, because
Yeah.
case in point, again, I'm 52. I've been married for almost 6 years, so I was what, 46, and she was 25. So she used to take pictures of us and put on them little filters and put it on TikTok and all them little stuff, and with glasses and lipstick and little hearts and all that stuff. And I used to get pissed. Don't put that shit and post that stuff. I People thinking I'm gay or something into this. But then one of my older friends was like, yo, man, you got with a younger woman. So you got to take all the stuff that comes with a younger woman. That's what every younger woman is doing. Look on Facebook, look on whatever. They all got them filters and all that stuff. And I said, you know something? You absolutely right. You absolutely right. That was one of the reasons why I wanted. I wanted a younger woman, so it could kind of keep me young. I don't have to be these older, bitter, set in their ways types. So I went back and apologized to her. So really, there's quite a few pictures of me online with little filters on
Well, I mean, the thing is, again, checking yourself, guys.
them.
It's like
Absolutely.
you can't carry that same matrix or same mindset that you have back in your hometown, your city, your state, your country, and take it overseas. Now, granted, there's some things you could leverage and adjust, but admitting when you're wrong is big there. And it's
Absolutely.
just, and also too, your word is everything.
And
Once you
look,
lose your, like, go
because
ahead.
that's really not something the men do there. Those men are kind of it's their way or the highway type.
Hmm.
And just like you said, abusive. They have no problem for what I'm hearing and saying from smacking a woman up. I actually jumped out of a car once because this guy was just beating this woman ass in
Look,
the street.
I've seen some shit. I've seen, I mean, when I go to these countries, I'm normally in the local areas. I've seen some like things that, wow, you cannot do that in the States.
Oh,
One, other men will jump your ass for doing that. And two, your ass will go to prison.
yeah.
But Just other countries, that's how things roll. But it doesn't mean that you have to act like that as well. So for me, it's just conduct yourself as a gentleman. Your word is your word. Your word is your bond. And it's just like, your yes is your yes, your no is your no. And one thing too, don't promise anything. Don't promise anything. Don't try to promise something and under deliver. So that's something I always tell guys. And I've been with my girl for like going on 7 years. And there was a few times we got into arguments or whatever, but we both apologized. It's like, hey, if we want to make this stuff work, we got to both check our egos. No matter what my position is, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm going to apologize. And sometimes, man, just reach out to her and give her a hug, man. That little simple gesture will solidify everything.
Yeah.
So, an expat, how do you sustain your life living in DR? Like, what are you a digital nomad, or do you have multiple businesses? Like, how are you sustaining this amazing life? The fact that you mentioned that, you started a hotel, now you're in the process of building a villa compound for your, what are your thoughts of like, what are you doing to help sustain this lifestyle that you're living while overseas?
All right, so I got multiple streams of income. Some small, some rather larger than others. Um, got the hotel there. Got the I own a credit repair company to where I can fix anyone's credit. I have an office in Florida, but as long as I have Wi-Fi, phone, and a laptop, I can work from anywhere in the world. I advertise to mainly mortgage companies, real estate agents, used car dealers all around the country,
Mhm.
so that they as long as there's people with bad credit that wants to buy houses, cars, and just have a better lifestyle, then I get referred business greatly. It's sometimes it gets a little overwhelming.
Okay, okay.
Uh, so so that actually pays me well.
And keep in mind, I'm hosting a podcast on how to repair and rebuild. I mean, how to repair and build your credit, personal and business. And I do have Rashad as one of my speakers, featuring my boy Kevin. He's also a credit repair person as well. And it's gonna be a great podcast on Thursday. So we're gonna definitely give you guys some tips and tricks on how you can actually repair, as well as build your credit to enhance your travel experience. So the fact that you have
So
multiple stream incomes,
not only just travel. I mean, I've actually made it so a few guys can actually move.
yeah. Oh, and again, we're gonna have you again on Thursday, so we could talk about that. So you have multiple stream incomes to sustain your lifestyle in Dominican Republic. Um, are you exploring any other business venture besides the hotel that you actually opened?
NDR, you mean?
Yeah.
I'm actually up in the states now, and I'll be going in 2 more weeks back to DR. But I'm actually gonna start buying cars and shipping them down there to actually sell.
Oh, okay.
And until they sell, I have my own little mom and pop rent a car company.
Nice. And that'll be perfect. Now, are you gonna have this in Santo Domingo, Santiago, Puerto Plata? Which areas you gonna have this
Um,
rent a car company?
I'm about 45, 50 minutes outside of Santo Domingo. So I'm in the southern part of the country, in
Okay.
between Santo Domingo and Haiti. I'm in a town called Bani.
Okay, Banin. I heard of Banin. Yeah, it's close to the border in the south of the south part of the island outside of Santo Domingo.
Correct.
How's life in Benin? How's life out there?
Um, it is. It's fine. It has its own little unique flavor. It's not too Americanized. In fact, the only American restaurant there is a Domino's.
Oh yeah, Domino's.
Domino's. So that is the only American type of food that you can actually get.
Okay,
Um,
okay.
the but it's still close enough to Santo Domingo to where if I want to do some American stuff or some upper level stuff or see a show or go to a nice restaurant or just do
You
something
could-
different, I can get there.
the first place that
45 minutes or so.
the first place that I ever went to when I first ever visited Dominican Republic was Santo Domingo.
Right.
However, I stayed in a city called Santo Domingo Este. Santo Domingo
Okay.
Este. It was in the hood. I didn't know because I stayed in a hotel and I was like, well, okay, I was in Santo Domingo Este. I thought I was in Santo Domingo, but I was in Santo Domingo Este. It was a whole different world. And
Yeah, that's farther away from the downtown area.
yeah, it was a different world because I was like in the barrios for some reason. I don't know. My boy got a spot there, and I was like, I stopped through. We got a hotel, and I was around locals, man, like chilling in the Camados.
Yeah, best
You know,
way to be.
yeah, man, that was that was my first time experiencing DR. I was in the hood, and then he said, "Hey, we're gonna go to the to the store," and I said, "Okay." We go to the store, and he brought some Presidentes, and it was chairs and table with music's playing on the background.
Yep.
And people just chilling. I'm like, you could drink in the store? It's like, yeah, man, people do this all the time. I'm like, all right.
Domino, dominoes and chilling.
Yeah, everything. So I'm like sitting there drinking, had my first beer out there, listening to the music and just taking everything all in. Watching all the cars with the loudspeakers drive by. I'm like, wow, this is different. But at the same time, I'll never forget that experience.
When you go to resorts or something, they tell you, hey, the country is so dangerous and you don't want to go to certain areas and all that. But then you go and be there and you're just with the people. There's no discrimination, nobody trying to do nothing to you. They just, hey, we have driven around um, on the highway, uh, coming from Sasua, driving back to the capital, and we're going through the mountains, and you see a whole bunch of people on the side of the road with the little tables and
Yeah.
beer and music, and we pulled over and just chill with them. They gave us food, we bought beers, and had a good time with people we don't even know.
One time I was
You can't do that
driving.
to cities.
One time I was driving from. I was in Caballete, and so I was driving up to Constanza. That's like the highest point of DR. And there was a lot of fruit stands on along the road. So I pulled over, and I was tired of driving because I needed to stretch my legs out. I pulled over, and the guy and his family, he had his whole family selling coconuts and mangoes, and I just drank some coconut. He just pulled a chair out for me, man. They sit down, relax. So my car is parked along the sideway. I mean, along the expressway. Not expressway, like one of the main roads.
Yeah.
And I sat down and I started talking to them, and I was eating mangoes and drinking coconut water.
Yeah.
And I sat there with them. They were talking to me. I was talking to them, and I chilled for about 45 minutes. And then I got back in the car and kept driving. But that was like a cool, authentic experience for me. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Absolutely. Now, uh, one of my mans came down and he looked like a broke biggie, big and black and ugly as ever. However, but one thing that they have a problem with down there is they don't listen to you. The women don't listen to you when you say that is more than enough on the plate.
Oh, yeah.
So my mother-in-law will feed you. My wife will feed you. So me and him decided to after we ate, man, we just gonna try to walk some of this stuff off. So we decided to walk around town, and from the hour and a half that we walked, by the time we got back to the house, he had like 11 numbers and WhatsApps from women that were just on the back of
Just-
motos or in cars or walking.
Yeah.
Because to have a conversation with anyone there, all you had to do is basically just say hola,
Yeah.
and they'll stop and talk to you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very easy. I mean, I've been given numbers at the airport at the security clearance.
Yeah,
I was like, okay, I have.
you didn't make it in the country yet.
Yeah, man. I've had women write their phone number on the receipt, like at a restaurant.
Yeah.
Um, and again, just be sociable, smile, make an effort to speak in their language. Um, yeah, it's a good atmosphere, man. It's like I don't have any issues. I mean, of course, there are some ones that I technically avoid. There's the type that I just don't fuck with. It's just like I ain't mess with y'all. But the majority of them are really cool, laid back. And speaking about mother-in-laws feeding you, like my girl parents, her moms, she knows that I love sancocho. What she does every time I come, when I arrive, my first day, I gotta go to the house. Like if I don't go to the house, that's disrespect for her because she always have a bowl of sancocho for me with the right rice and sancocho and the avocado. She always my first day, my first meal. Every time I come back, I gotta eat that, and she'll have a big old bowl for me, sitting at the table, and I gotta eat that. I gotta eat everything. It's
Yeah,
like,
and they don't understand that their culture is feed the man. Our
yeah,
culture, when we was growing up, is to eat everything that's on your plate.
yeah,
Otherwise, it's kind of disrespectful because they slave so hard to make stuff,
hmm,
and then they're supposed to be quote unquote a third world country. So you would think I really don't want to waste nothing because they work
yeah,
so hard for it. Yeah, but
yeah.
I've definitely put on a few
Yeah,
pounds.
honestly, I always gain weight when I go there. But now sometimes I tell her just give me a small amount because some I've been training and it's just like I can't. My appetite level is very small, so I know when I get there next Wednesday, it's gonna be a bowl of sancocho, some rice, and some avocado.
Well,
So
see,
I got to make sure I go there with an empty stomach because I know there's gonna be a big ass bowl waiting for me.
que, que, que ciudad?
Say that again.
Que ciudad?
Okay, so that.
What city?
I'm sorry, because you're oh Gasper.
Uh,
That's like about an hour
Hernandez.
outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gasper Hernandez. Yeah, I'm in the outskirts. I'm in the outskirts. I'm like near the Malecon area, so I could literally walk around the Malecon, and this country, man, very country. But it's a whole different world, man. It's just like from Puerto Plata to there. It's a whole different world. And I don't meet any other Americans. I'll be the only American guy. So
Bani is about uh, Bani has about 80,000 people in it, and I think I might be the only American.
yeah,
I I have not run across just in my just travel just run across people speaking English.
yeah, and it's weird. It's kind of funny because whenever I walk around the community, because I walk to the gym, and when I leave the gym, everyone's looking at me. They trying to figure out who the hell this dude is. Like, because there's a Haitian community out there as well, and I'm Haitian. So I'll walk by and say bonsoir, bonjour, speak to them in Creole. They eyes just lit up like, you Haitian? Like, yeah, I'm Haitian. But it's kind of cool just to be outside the script. If I wanted to go see the fuckery, I could easily drive 1 hour down to Sosua, Puerto Plata, Cabarete, and be around Americans if I want to. But
And there are a lot of them there.
yeah, that's the thing. So I mean, I'll go there like probably one time just to say what's up if I know any guys that I know out there. But after that, I turn around and be anxious to go back. It's like I kind of the main reason why I travel is to get away from this shit.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's cool to see like-minded brothers and everything else, but man, after a couple of hours, I'm like, yeah, it's the reason why I kind of want to get away from you guys. So it's kind of cool, man. So you you found love. You have a successful multiple stream of income that's helping sustaining your lifestyle overseas. How's your mental peace, your mental state since you transitioned to Dominican Republic versus living in the United States? Like, how's your overall peace?
All right, so in DR, um, there is no thing called like Black Lives Matter
Mm,
because there's no need for it. The country's like 90% black. I mean, there are cities in DR that are blacker than Baltimore and Atlanta and DC. So you really don't have that stress or that thing of where some police pull you over or someone's going to racially profile you. Um, I don't have any of that. Um, don't have the stress levels of being in a relation. When I was married, the last 3 months I was married, I didn't even like coming home. Um, the last 3 months that we lived together, I didn't even speak to her. We lived in the same house, slept in the same bed. I must have said about 2 words to her because when I'm done, I'm done. I do not see that happening there. I mean, I am I'm in America right now and I'm miserable. I can't wait to go back in 2 weeks. I'm miserable. Uh, it's the best relationship move I've ever done, and it is uh, relaxing in so much in other ways. I mean, the weather is always beautiful. Besides for the hurricane, the food is wonderful. It doesn't have the all the additives and stuff that we actually have here. Um, if something's wrong with you could actually go to the pharmacy and damn near buy anything without a prescription.
Prescription. Yeah, I noticed that. I was like, for some reason, I always get sick when I go to DR because the dust. So my allergy kind of goes into overdrive, and I could literally go to the pharmacy and ask for like Zentex, like some real hardcore shit, and they will give it to me.
Yeah,
And it's like, normally you need to have a prescription for certain, prescriptions. But yeah, it's just you go to the pharmacy store, you could get whatever you need.
a couple years ago, I got bit by a spider. Swelled my foot up. I went to the emergency room there, saw the nurse, got two injection IV pain meds. Saw the doctor. He sent me to get a uh, X-ray. They thought I broke my foot or something. So I got two X-rays. They gave me 3 prescriptions, which I filled. All of that came to like $128 our money.
Wow.
Just stepping foot into the emergency room here in the States, you coming out of pocket large.
So would you say the healthcare system there in DR, is it sustainable for you, or would you rather come back to the States and handle all your doctor visits?
I mean, it all depends on what it is. I mean, if it's open heart surgery or something, I'm coming back here. But for everyday things, I mean, there are hospitals in Santo Domingo that are probably just as good as hospitals here in the States.
Yeah,
And since I have money, you kind of go to the front of the line.
that's true. That's. I mean, I think that applies to any country you go to. If you're an American with dollars, you definitely be put in head of the line for most cases. Um, so it's great to hear all this, man. You live in this expat life in Dominican Republic. You're able to actually find a relationship that is quality. Um, you have multiple streams of income to help sustain the lifestyle that you want to live, and you have a peace of mind out here. It's like you don't feel the danger or um, experience a lot of the BS that we'll go through in the States versus living overseas. Now, granted, guys, there's still some bullshit overseas. Don't get it twisted. You still go through a lot of stuff while you're overseas. However, again, it's all about positioning yourself. And Rashad has done an amazing job in putting himself in a position to win in all aspects: business, love, and
Here's the thing,
mind.
though. Once you learn at least a little bit, I mean, some main phrases in the actual language, half of that bullshit is gone.
That's true. Especially once they know that you speak Spanish, they don't try to run game on you. They realize, like,
Oh yeah, everything there, everything there is a hustle.
Yeah.
everything.
And that's the mindset that I have. Every country I go to, I know I'm going to get hustled. I've been hustled a few times, is what it is. But you learn from it, you know.
Yeah, but but us getting hustled down there might be $20. You know?
Oh, I've seen people get hustled in thousands of dollars, bad investments. A lot of us,
Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, it is what it is. I
yeah,
mean, we shit, if you're investing in crypto and all that, you're taking a risk.
yeah.
But
Absolutely.
a lot of guys will hear amazing, great stories about investing overseas, but yet not fully vetting the process. And a lot of guys get got. I mean, it is
Oh
what it
yeah,
is.
always have a Dominican that you can trust, or an American that expat that's been there for years and is respected.
Yeah, and also too,
You
if
just got to
they're
come out there new. You probably need to watch out.
yeah, if you're in if you interested in really, doing any type of investment, speak to the expats first. And also too, make sure that they recommend a good attorney because there's a lot of scamming attorneys out there too.
Absolutely.
Trust me, I've seen it all, man. I've seen it all, and it's like I said, I've been taken advantage of. I'm not afraid to admit that I've been got, but
Oh yeah,
also
I did
I,
too.
I've learned that's how I became a better traveler. So now it's like my no is a no. There's no if buts. Why? Like no. And I'm not. And also, don't be afraid to walk away. Like you know what? Put your hands up. Walk away. Like I'm good. Um, but Rashad, you done an amazing job out there. Because again, you don't hear a lot of black men, positive living overseas. Like right now, with the narrative being pushed, men are just traveling for one thing and one thing only. They don't build, they don't contribute. But I know personally, there's many expats in these countries that are contributing into the community, that are doing very well, making money, starting businesses, starting families. So this false narrative that, black men are only traveling for one thing is false. There's a lot of us out there are really doing some amazing things. And right now we have Rashad on the floor and he's sharing his experience. Rashad,
Yeah.
is there anything else you want to add?
Another thing that I actually do. When I came down there and actually got married, all of my wife's friends, gorgeous. These women are fine as I don't know what. Um, was like, hey, why don't you bring somebody here for us to meet? So that started a little side business to where I do man cave trips. I bring guys down for 6 nights, 7 days, and we go to Sasua for like 4 days to so they can experience that.
Yeah.
But then I bring them down to where I live at, so they could see the good girl aspect of it too. And I've had a couple dudes get married from women that I actually introduced them to. I started a Facebook group, which you're actually in that group as well.
Yeah.
That has about 1,800 Dominican chicks in it. Some are pay to play, some are good girls. You just gotta vet your way through them.
It's funny. I had several of them hit me up on DM, and I have to tell them, hey, I have a girlfriend. Like
Yeah,
I don't
some
want
of them
no
don't. Hey,
problems.
look, some of them don't care.
I know, but I don't want no problems. Just like I don't want no problem. When I go there, I want to just chill the f out. I don't want no issues, man. So, and the thing too
Absolutely.
is like again, guys, be straightforward. If you're really into that, let it be known. Don't try to sell a false dream, which I've seen a lot of guys do. They try to sell this dream. They want a relationship and all that, but really, all you want is just one thing. Just say it.
Yeah,
You know?
there will down there. There's a song. You can live however you like. You can
Yeah.
do that down there. There's something for everybody down there. And the thing is, you just have to say what it is. I mean, if a if a woman down there likes you, and you know this 100%, if a woman down there likes you and she knows that you're in the country, she'll get on a bus 7 hours each way to come be with you wherever you're at.
I agree.
Sometimes here in the States, you can't get a woman to come across the room. some of those women that come across country.
I totally agree with that. I totally agree.
Yeah, because
Uh,
I've had some guys that I took them to Sasua, and a chick got on the bus from Punta Cana.
oh, that's about 10 hours. Because from Punta Cana, they'll have to catch the bus from Punta Cana to Santo Domingo, and then from Santo
Correct.
Domingo, they have to drive up to Sasua, Puerto Plata area.
Yeah.
Yeesh, it's a long ride, man.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
definitely want to close it out because I don't want to extend more than an hour, and it's a work week, and I got to take my son to school in the morning.
All right.
Um, what advice would you give guys who are interested in becoming an expat, who are interested in starting a business, creating multiple streams of income, as well as finding love? What would you tell that potential expat how to
All
do
right.
that?
So to quote unquote find love, you could do it on websites, but you actually gotta vet the women, and a clean way to vet them is to, as they ask you for money, because you'll have some that ask you for money within the first 5 seconds. Um, Cut them off. Um, if you know somebody in the country that has a successful relationship, see if he can or his girl can put you down with someone that's more so like her. Or hey, come on one of my trips. You will meet all types of women on the trips that I actually do. Which my next one is it's too late for that one. That one's filled up for the Halloween weekend,
Oh yeah.
Halloween week.
It-
But the
it-
one after that is my New Year's trip.
um, do you want to do you have a website where people can actually learn more about your tours and the services that you offer, or
I
we
don't
could
have a
promote it in
site
the
for it
Facebook
because
group?
I really don't do it like that. It's just whenever I'm ready to do a trip, I start advertising in the little groups on Facebook
Got it.
or that.
Well, in that case, do you want to promote your Facebook group? I mean, I could actually add it on to the.
The name of the Facebook group is Who Wants to Date a Dominican Chick. Don't know why I came up with that name, but it fits. Who Wants to Date a Dominican Chick? It's got about 1,800 Dominican women in there. Some more beautiful than others. I mean, some have no kids, some have some are pay to play, some are good girls. Whatever you're looking for, you can actually find in my particular group. Um, if you are fed up with the living in the States and you want to live in a country like this, but you still want to make that American money, um, there are there are many jobs that'll allow you to work from home. And if you have the right VPN, they would never know that you're out the country. So I know guys, the average job in Dominican Republic pays about $350 US per month. So if you're making some of these jobs where you're doing customer service for hotels, cruise lines, um, you're making $15 to $30 an hour. So even if you're just making 15, that's $600 a week. That's $2,400 a month. You're making what 8 times more than what they're making there. For that amount of money, you could actually live rather well.
Also, too, guys, if you think about getting more into the cloud space, cybersecurity, in the IT world, there's a lot of remote jobs where you can make six figures while living overseas. I know a lot of guys who are making 150K, 200K, 250K living overseas. Imagine taking that amount of money and living in Dominican Republic.
Yeah, I actually have a guy who's I just fixed his credit, but he's got because he left and decided that he wasn't going to pay the rest of the stuff he owed in the states. So I took all that stuff off of his credit and I got him 700 scores again. But he works for uh, Google. he does recruiting for Google, and he's making like
Oh, wow.
170,000 a year.
Good job. I know a few people. I know a few recruiters for Google.
Living in a laid apartment in Santo Domingo is laid, and he's only paying like $500 a month.
Oh, trust me, I know. I have a few.
Laid.
I have a few contacts in DR, and they're all in Santo Domingo. Man, they living that life, man. I'd be like, man, you guys are lucky, but also too, they keep a low profile. So,
Yeah.
wow, this is a great show, man.
There's ways to work like that, so where you can just be up and gone, just live. How do you say? Live your best life.
Yeah, but also too, putting yourself in a position to live your best life.
Correct.
And that's why we're having these podcasts to give you guys the tips and tricks and how to do that. There are a lot of Black men who are living the life with and producing receipts. We're not just talking about it; we're actually, doing it. And Rashad, he has the receipts because I am part of that Facebook group. He has shared his testimony with me before, and that's why I actually invited him to the podcast. But guys, you could actually do the same thing that Rashad is doing. Just put yourself in a position and be willing to put in the work. It's not going to be easy. Don't think that you could just come here and just show out. You got to put in the work. And you can also, by putting in the work, you can live the best life you want, whatever country you go to. It doesn't have to be DR. It doesn't have to be, the big three, the Colombia, Brazil, and DR. You could actually go anywhere in the world and have a sustainable lifestyle while living your best life. And Rashad, I just want to say thank you, man. I appreciate it, man, because I know it's a Tuesday, late, and I got to get up early in the morning to take my boys to school. We're definitely going to have you on Thursday with Kevin to highlight the building and repairing your credit. So it's going to be a great conversation around that. Is there anything you want to close with, Rashad?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I appreciate you having me.
No problem.
Anybody have any questions for me or want to see my part of the country when you're there, just reach out to me in the group.
Yeah, and I'll definitely share his information on the podcast description. But guys, reach out to him, man. He's a solid guy. He has your best interest, and be willing to put in the work and explore. Be open. With that being said, we're just gonna end it. End this podcast, and thank you again, Rashad, for making yourself available. And look forward to Thursday podcast on repairing and building your credit.
All right.
Until then, guys, good night.
Later.